back at GMS Studios themselves here at Thrive, NSA's Thrive and Self. I'm sitting here with a good friend of mine, Hardy Smith. Mr. Hardy, I want to thank you very much for joining me here at the theater itself. You have a very interesting story, all right, for what you do and working with associations, all right, to really build context, all right, to change, all right, to develop some unique differences themselves with associations. First, I want the folks themselves to understand who it is, who Hardy is. Okay.
Thank you, Rich. The Hardy journey, if you will, includes 30 years working in the high performance world of NASCAR racing.
Good deal.
Where my job description was to identify problems, Rich, before they existed.
Good.
And then make sure they didn't happen.
Good. So on the track or off the track?
Either way. I was a corporate lobbyist, so worked all over the country helping solve problems for NASCAR.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Good, good, good. So what brought you into now what you're doing right now is working with associations. Associations themselves could be a problem child. Okay.
I take a great question. I get asked all the time, Hardy, from NASCAR to nonprofits. That's not exactly what people normally do.
An easy transition, Hardy.
It is, but it's been a labor of love for me.
Good.
I've been involved in community service, volunteer groups, associations, nonprofits, chambers of commerce, literally all my life.
Yeah.
And even while in NASCAR world, I was involved in those other worlds, either professionally or personally, that entire time.
Right.
So when I had the opportunity to create my own business, which I've been at now for a couple of decades, I chose to go do the work in the world of nonprofits.
Okay.
Because that's just where I have fun.
Okay.
And feel like I can make an impact.
Yeah.
And now what I do is I do for nonprofit organizations what I did for NASCAR world, which means I am quite a different individual.
Right.
And I think differently. I process differently. In NASCAR world, it's always accept but verify, challenge. Why did we win? Why did we lose?
Right.
So I bring a different mindset, and that has helped me serve a number of organizations quite well.
Sure. That mantra itself of really working. I mean, there's nothing connotative about from NASCAR all right, to associations. Associations see things themselves at many different levels. Okay.
Yes.
And their challenges themselves are very, very unique, usually, and especially in the nonprofit sides.
Yes.
Okay. Because of the fact itself, you have a lot of volunteer individuals.
Yes.
Who have a different set of experiences, different set of goals and objectives. And it's probably managing some of those goals and objectives to make the best. I mean, we got praises out for NSA. All right. They do a great job. Jamie does a great job of wrangling up the troops. All right.
Cat herding. Oh,
without
yes.
a doubt. And so within this, so what are some of the challenges that you face with some of these associations?
Rich, another great question. You're good at this. In the United States, there are about 1.5 million nonprofit organizations.
Right.
Now that includes the non-profit social sector organizations, chambers of commerce, and associations like the National Speakers Association.
Right, yeah.
That's 1.5 million organizations.
It's a lot of work.
So if you multiply 1.5 million times, say, an average of 10 for number of staff people, times another 10 or 20 for number of volunteer board members, that's a large pool of organizations and individuals that world represents, right? A top pain point in the world of nonprofit organizations centers, Rich, around board members who don't perform, board members who don't meet expectations.
Sure.
The number one question I get asked is, why don't my board members do what they're supposed to do?
They want the title, they want to put it on their resume, but don't want to do the work.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of reasons.
Let's just sum it up. That's
a good starting point.
You have to have the greatest intentions, and so unfortunately, they lack the execution. And
yes,
I spent many a time through a lot of different associations themselves and a lot of different venues and areas, and it seems to be the same thing. And
Yes.
it could be you could have greatest intentions with some of the individuals, but you've got that one individual, all right, who wants to change the look and spots and maybe the direction of the cow. All right. Guess what? You're not going to move that cow very far.
That's absolutely right.
So within there, what are some of those challenges themselves besides, working with somebody? You're working with people, you're communicating. All right. You're engaging these folks themselves to say, okay, this is what the goal is. You're probably working a mission, vision. Okay. You're working on goals and objectives. Okay. And what the end result of this, this association is. Yeah. Honey, I find this frustrating to me sometimes with associations, all right, in the years and many, many years that I spent with different types of associations, there's a change in the guard every year.
Yes.
All right. And with the change in the guard every year, everybody brings in a new set of, I want to accomplish this and I want to do that. But what happened to the goals that were set in mind are previous? That's a challenge.
Totally. And what happened to the strategic plan?
Exactly.
Are you following the strategic plan? Exactly. So does the annual turnover in leadership, is it okay to reflect the personalities of the new individuals?
Right.
Certainly, as long as it follows the strategic plan. And that's a whole nother topic for another next time.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But do you have a strategic plan? Too many organizations don't.
That's right. You're right. And so I find it funny itself from mechanic or designer or developer from NASCAR itself into working with associations. Okay. Basically now you become a surgeon.
Yeah.
Okay. For figuring out, and that's what you've always been, a surgeon itself, figuring out what the dilemmas of associations.
Yes.
And really guiding them and working and taking the scalpel. Did I say it that way? We're going to use all those tools, folks.
Yes,
taking
absolutely.
the scalpel, all right, to that cadaver, all right, and not physically, but mentally, and challenging itself, the folks themselves to do. What are some of the pain points you see doing this?
Well, I appreciate that question because it helps me share with our audience today, Rich, that when I started doing my research that ultimately led to my book, Stop the Nonprofit Board Blame Game.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And we're
going to talk about that.
I discovered that while in the nonprofit sector, there's a lot of finger of blame pointing to the board members for not meeting expectations.
Right.
But Rich, my research of board members, asking them, why don't you meet expectations?
Right.
Well, guess what?
Go.
They shared with me, we don't meet expectations because, number one, we're not getting the positive board experience we were led to believe that was there.
Sold them a bill of goods.
Well, there's a little bit of a bait and switch. You're exactly right. And then there were another about 3 or 4 more key reasons that I found, really not the problem, but really the symptoms of the situations at hand that really mean organizations like chambers and associations, they're creating self-inflicted wounds.
Sure they are, without a doubt.
Yes.
And,
they don't have to have all the frustration they're having.
No, not at all. And I'm thinking there's a hinge. There's a couple of hinges on this. And one of the hinges themselves out there is always that I've seen, in past experiences themselves, is budgetary. Okay.
Sometimes.
We don't have the money to do this. We don't have the money to that.
Sometimes.
And there's engagement. There's different ways of handling this.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
There are ways themselves bring. What are some of the other pain points themselves you see out there?
Number one, and a lot of these would seem to be maybe counterintuitive. Like, really? Is it that simple? A lack of intentionality around board recruitment.
Okay.
So my question is, if your board members aren't doing what they're supposed to do, if they're not meeting expectations, is it possible you don't have the right people?
Right.
And that's about 99.9% of the case. And so we don't have enough time to get into it today, but that's what the whole book is about.
Sure.
Organizations wait until the last minute.
Yep.
They don't to get the next board member replacement of the one that's rotating off, and there is no thought into it. There's no pool of prospects.
Right.
I'm a big college sports fan. I love recruiting. I've coached basketball at the youth level, and I see how top level basketball coaches would come watch maybe one of our sixth graders, because they're recruiting a sixth grade boy for when he's a senior in high school to come play at a top level ACC or SEC basketball.
Right.
I said, that's nuts.
That's right.
But that's the reality. So what about if your mission is so important?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it make sense to follow that whole same process of college sports recruiting?
Right.
Now, that's not with the NIL. That's a whole nother story. But you reach out and you think about, you plan ahead in advance. What are the skills you need? What are the experiences you need?
Right.
Who has the skills and necessary qualifications to be on the board for this board?
This board, right, exactly.
1.5 million boards, they're all unique.
Yeah.
And just because you've had board service on 5 other boards doesn't mean you're a good fit for this particular board. Does that make sense?
Sure does. Are you the right person for the job? Does the agenda fit with experience? All right. And are you the right individual to continually feed?
Yes.
All right. The program.
Yes.
And I think that's going to be extremely important going forward. All right. You talked about your book. What's the name of the book?
Stop the Nonprofit Board Blame Game.
Well, it cuts right to the chase, doesn't it?
And on the fingers, you see on the cover, you see the 2 fingers of blame.
Right, exactly.
Because it's the staff people blaming the board, and the board members are blaming the staff.
Right, exactly.
They tell me board members tell me the number one reason good board members turn off, Rich, is poor communication.
It's got to be. Yeah,
poor communication.
Yep, I would imagine so. Hardy, there are folks themselves in the NSA worlds that deal with associations. There are folks themselves that deal with nonprofits. And they speak in all different types of levels themselves to engage folks.
Yes.
All the same concepts that we've been talking about, communications and really getting the mission, vision, and the correction to path. All right.
Yes.
Wants and needs themselves got to be parallel, and make sure you get the right person for the job. I think people themselves need to know what you've got and what you've put together from your experience. How do people reach you?
Very simple. The website, hardysmith.com.
It's not a Jones, folks. It's a Hardy Smith.
hardysmith.com. Right there.
Folks themselves, Hardy, this has been a great conversation. I think more people themselves need to see this. Okay?
Thank you.
I want you to get it out to everybody, because more individuals themselves, hopefully, they take a second thought to say, maybe, am I the right type of person for this board?
That's it.
And if not, Hardy's going to be right there, right behind you.
We'll be there to guide you along the way.
Hardy, it's been my honor and distinct pleasure to have you on this guest today. Thank you very much. And we want to thank themselves, the crew, folks out there itself on GMS, Global Media Studios, and those here at NSA Thrive. And thank you very much for hanging out with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.